Welcome back to Pentagram Prime, everybody. Today we'll be putzing around with aviation as I try once again to take those coveted temperature readings from the opposite end of Kerbin. I'm going to try to build in some lift on the midsection and create something that looks roughly like a dihedral. Got my center of lift properly oriented with the center of mass. I think it goes behind it. The lift goes behind the center of mass, something like that. Oh, looks like we have a weight issue. I never knew they put so many restrictions on dirt runways. Just got to trim some fuel from the center core booster. All right, I'm feeling lucky today. Go baby, go baby, go baby. And I think I've seen this movie before. You might be asking, why didn't you do some more research? Study some proven designs instead of haphazardly slapping some wings on and hoping for the best. Well, kind of a long story. I did add control surfaces, but I don't recall doing anything to properly configure them. Nope, I was out here. Now, I could have lost myself in a rabbit hole of KSP lore and articles on properly placing my center of lift, but I really prefer to be cutting trail, and not nearly enough people do. In case it wasn't already obvious, I spent quite a bit of time in the Lake Tahoe Basin, and around this time of year, the ski resorts are hopping with people who don't wish to learn how to properly ride a lift. Yet those same Turons would never dare try to navigate using terrain markers. Many become lightheaded upon losing cell phone reception. On this trip, my goal was to scope out the snowpack at the top of the trail. This was a trail that I had only previously traveled in the summertime months. I'll be out there again shortly after I post this video. This might be a good time for you to mention what I was thinking about when I wasn't listening to Bjork. As of late, I've been developing mnemonics as I try to memorize a list of spherical harmonics that I found in a QM textbook. So as you can see here, what I typically do with these formulas is I break them down into a string of characters, mostly using the major system for the numbers, but not exclusively. And then I take that and I turn it into a sentence of some kind. Now, I would love to go ahead and show you my notes on the sentences that were formed and how they went together, but the problem is that's deeply personal information. I know it's going to be for you if you end up trying to do this yourself. And with that said, I could tell you all, but then I'd have to kill you. I'm so sick of editing this thing. I mean, seriously, who's watching it anyway? Sorry, my channel is still in the middle of a mild identity crisis. Anyway, in case you're wondering why I chose to tackle spherical harmonics the way I did, it started out as a rabbit's hole that I went down after I checked out a book on chemistry at the local library. My intention was to shore up the little knowledge that I have of chem, and in the process, I realized that I'd covered the shapes that form the basis for electron orbitals when I took a class on QM theory years back. I was pleased to find that these functions have applicability in, among other things, classical electrodynamics. So, having seen what this particular ridge looked like in late December, I descended and pondered the tasks ahead of me. Here we have a somewhat redacted portion of the mnemonics I developed over the past week when I was not playing Kerbal Space Program. But don't worry, Kerbals are way too much fun for me to completely abandon them. In fact, I did manage to squeeze off one more launch and landing, if you can call it that, before I took off into the woods. So I think this one was rolling over on its side as right from the beginning. So love to say there was hope here, but not really. It did have a really interesting ending, though, as you can see with what happened with the booster. We pan around and spiral. All right, that's all she wrote. It's Pentagram Prime signing off.